Și văzându-l s-au închinat lui ei care se îndoiseră și apropiindu-se Iisus le-a vorbit zicând: Dacă mi s-a toată puterea în cer și pe pământ.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I was about to say. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few info about what you saw in this church, because maybe you have more questions. So, practically, those who are holding the child. On the other side, I told you it's a salty sea. It has 17 to 18 degrees. Quite salty. You know, it's not for a bunch să ne facă nouă. Hai! Da, hai să vedem. Hai! Dacă nu așa din ea.
Like classic, like neo-baroque, you name it, like academical style, or like the Art Nouveau, the late 1800s. Now we are on an avenue called Elizabeth Avenue, after the name of our first queen. So King Carol I's wife. By the way, in the main square behind the horse tail, you have seen a building with a black roof, and that is the Central Library of Bucharest. We're going to drive through the square again, some other time later during our tour. So probably after lunch. To the left-hand side, this is the formal building of the town hall. Nowadays, it's hosting the archives of the city. Left side. Right side, you see one of the central parks of Bucharest. This is called Cismigiu Gardens. And some nice, it's a lake in the middle, design of you see now to the right, the main entrance, all those flower beds and you name it, bushes. And so, of course, it's not the right season, but there are a lot of parks right located in the central of Bucharest. Also, the place where we're going to have the lunch is the largest park of the downtown of the capital, called Herăstrău Park, but we will see that later. Coming up in front of us, to the left, in the middle of the square, you see a statue of a man and a pigeon to his head. This is the very first, most important statesman of the modern Romania. For the very first time when the name of Romania appeared on the map of Europe was 1859, when two provinces joined, Wallachia into the south and Moldavia in the northeast, and they formed Romania, which means people of Rome. That was the very first prime minister. His name is Michael Mihai Cogălnicianu. Yes, he was pointing with a finger, talking to the pigeon that please also go to the other place, not only on my head. To the right, you see the University of Bucharest. That's one of the wings of the university. Right side, this is the Law University. You can also pass around in the this placements that not all of you have seen. It is a map of Eastern Central Europe and the map of Europe, just to get a better idea to orientate. Coming up to the right, you will see the building of the Opera House, the greenish one to the right side, 1 o'clock, where just a few days ago, King Mihai, Michael, celebrated his anniversary, 90th anniversary. Look at the statue in front of the opera. That's George Enescu, the most famous Romanian composer. And it was really, this is the opera and the ballet, and it was all the reception. There were as many kings and queens in Romania we'd never seen, before, like, from Queen of King, and have crossed the river and look now, close to the downtown of Bucharest. Look to the right now, you see a statue, right side, 1 o'clock, in the honor of the Romanian sanitary soldiers who lost their lives in the First World War. So in the First World War, we entered 2 years later, in 1916, and we fought from the beginning to the end against the Central Powers. So against basically, against Germany and against Germany and Austro-Hungary in the First World War. In the Second World War, we played both sides to the middle, I would say, but we were forced to, in a way. At the beginning, we fought with the Nazi, with Germany, to get on the same side, to get our territory, which we lost towards the Russians, the Soviets. And later, on the 23rd of August 1944, we changed the sides. We did short the war with 6 months, but we were not recognized as being on the winning side. And it's easily to guess why, but I will get back also to that idea if you wish later on. Look to the right now, coming up. This building is the most beautiful university as for the architecture. That's the medical school, right side. See the statue in front of the father of the Romanian medical school. That's Carol Davila is his name. We have a number of Romanians who got a Nobel Prizes for various things, of course, discoveries and so. Like one of the doctors, Parhon, the guy who discovered the insulin, together with another one. In front of us, it is the entrance. They are the gates of the presidential palace, and also of the second former royal palace of Bucharest. That's called Cotroceni. You see all the fence going all around, and the palace is up the hill, just behind the trees, looking out to the right. And one wing of it is the place where our actual president works. His name is Băsescu. He's on his second term. We can have a president for maximum 2 terms, each term being of 5 years. He was the former mayor of Bucharest. You notice a lot of last names, Romanian last name, end in Escu. Escu is a common Romanian family name ending. Escu meaning, in the old language, son of. now, not anymore like a translation. So Băsescu, we're going to have presidential elections in 2 years from now, so not next year, but in 2013. And next year, 2012, we're having the parliamentary elections for the two chambers. Look to the left, like a flea market, not flea market, but like a vegetable market, and all these guys selling organic products. Make a stop, like buying ham and homemade brandy, homemade cheese, all these kinds of. Which would express why Bucharest, like to the left side or so, which would express why Bucharest was once nicknamed the little. Unfortunately, into the water. There are two rivers which cross the capital. This is Dâmbovița to the left, and another one is named Colentina, the one which makes all the lanes through all the parks. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking about the old part which was destroyed by Ceausescu, over 10% was destroyed by Ceausescu to make place of the so-called civic center. And the largest
which was built in the historical center of Bucharest on what used to be the Arsenal Hill. The construction of this building started in 1983, but the rock foundation was put in 1984. All the materials in the palace are genuine Romanian. Were used 1 million cubic meters of marble, 2 million tons of sand, 2,800 lamps and chandeliers, all of them made of crystal of Mediaș. Were used 3,500 tons of crystal. Mediaș is a city in our country near Sibiu in Transylvania. What you have to know from the beginning is that this building was not built to be the home of Ceausescu. He didn't want to live here, they didn't write to him. And international. This is the room in the palace that looks the most with the chamber of deputies because it's in circle, it has a lot of seats, many columns, but the chamber of deputies has 800 seats. It's a little bit bigger than this one. The ceiling is made entirely in crystal, blue crystal. Initially, this wife, family. Yes, 3 totally. Valentin is no. Valentin died of, well, he had a disease at the liver, I don't know what, I think he drank too much. Zoe, the girl, died of cancer, and the only one alive.
Sorry.
Curtains were embroidered with silver and golden. Ceausescu was an atheist. He didn't believe in God or something like that. So he didn't make these carpets there just because he was a religious person. He did it because the nuns were the best in what they were doing. So I can't say that it's important, but he tried to convince them. about 2 tons. But because in Cisnădiere, the factory, they didn't have enough space to make such a big carpet there, Ceausescu decided to move the whole factory. He brought the women from Cisnădiere, the lambs, and he made the carpet right in the street. And actually all the big carpets inside the palace were brought here into pieces and assembled in the rooms that they needed, because were too big and too heavy to bring them into only one piece. So this is the only one who was made into only one piece. And this is the room where Nadia Comăneci, the gymnast, you know Nadia Comăneci? Yes. Had her wedding. Yes. It was a gift of the parliament for her and husband.
Yeah, I know. Didn't get you in it. Well, that's all right. Usually they don't know I'm here anyway.
Make sure it's okay. I try to get down there. We have a water bottle. No, I'm trying to.
See the people attending the church service, especially on the main avenues. Ceausescu's wife was even, harder in that. Didn't want to let the people to hang their laundry in the balconies to dry it. Everything should look grayish, no color, no differences. To the left, 11 o'clock, you see the wolf female with the 2 babies, Romulus and Remus, symbol of the Latinity. As we are Latin, speaking a Romance language, they drink a cappuccino, 2 babies. And to the right, you see St. George Church. And where this tram is turning around, the streetcar, the tram, where is this St. George Church? This is the kilometer 0 of the country. So from here, mile 0, from here we start to count all the miles in all the directions. Coming up to the right, you see the building with the red stripes. That's the oldest hospital of the capital, dating back from 1704. So Colțea Hospital and Colțea Church from the same time. To the left is the old part of the city, and we will see it a little bit better later on, but just from the bus, with some very narrow streets, but small, a very small area. So that's the oldest hospital on the right side. To the left side, 11 o'clock, in the little courtyard where you see the vendors, and so probably it's also like a little exhibition with selling books and things like that. That's the, and also temporary exhibition. This is the Museum of Bucharest. So Museum of the City. I'm sure this sounds familiar to you. This square to the right side, the building just across the, you see, it's like a violin. So it's a violin statue. Across the violin statue, like a yellowish building with a greyish roof. This is the Ministry of Agriculture, right side. Left side, 11 o'clock in front of us, the building with the metal greyish roof. That's the University of Bucharest. This university institution was opened by our very first king in 1866. It's a state university and education is for free as long as you pass the entrance exams. To the left coming up, in the middle of the square, you will see some crosses after we cross the traffic light. Nobody is buried there, but this one to indicate, to remind us that as many people died in 1989. So to the left in the middle of the square. Faculty of, so coming up, so the left side, the crosses, Faculty of Architecture, Foreign Languages, Mathematics, Physics, everything is to the left. To the right is your hotel, Intercontinental, our hotel, saying goodbye for the last time we see it. Right side you see all this character, you know, all this like a circus, all these statues in front of a building with a green scaffolding. That's the National Theatre, also the Operetta Theatre, and all those statues in front, they are characters from the most famous, plays done by our most famous playwright, a guy who lived in the 1800s. And that's what they want to indicate. Along this avenue, this is the widest and the main avenue of the downtown. You find most of the offices, you know, most of the cinemas, theaters. The avenue is a lot of cinemas and theaters. And speaking about Bucharest, ladies and gentlemen, Bucharest, in Romanian language, you will call it București. București. And means the city of joy, in a literary translation, city of joy, or according with the legend, it is said that a shepherd settled down in the 1200s, his name was Bucur. Other people follow him as he was playing very nice on a flute, and Ești meant town in the old time, so because of his name, well, this place was called, you know, the little village, you know, Bucur's place. And later, look at it to the right side, look at all the figures and so, like the Noah's Arch, yeah, and so just because of that, you know, according to the legend, they said that he was the founder of the city. People follow him, they settle down, and we are located here only 40 miles from the Danube. So the Danube is going south from Bucharest. The Danube was the border with the Ottoman Empire. As Bulgaria was vanished from the map of Europe during the 500 years of Turkish occupation, and they were really transformed into a Turkish province. For us, we were lucky, we were better as we were further from the Ottoman Empire, and we could keep our native ruling prince, native born ruling princes. So, but imagine that being as close to the Ottoman Empire border, there were always battles, fights, and you know, buildings were destroyed. So it was not really time to build as much and to keep it, even building it, but not to maintain, not to keep it. Look at all the flower markets like Wright and so many. Most of the people who are selling the flowers, they are gypsies. You can identify them looking at having a darker color and all these very colorful skirts. Coming up in front of us, it will be another square named Roman Square, so Piazza Romana, and to the right a building with a dome and a website sign on the top of the roof. That's the building where I learned. That's the College of Economics, so Academy of Economic Studies from Bucharest. A couple of crosses to the left. I was also very lucky, you know, that in all the classes here, you know, there are like 2 boys and the rest are girls. So you can imagine we were spoiled. You know, all the homework was done for us, and we were treated like princes. And regardless of that fact, we were naughty and we were making all kinds of jokes, according with that big ball on the roof of the university. but then just you know, connecting with the student girls studying there, but they don't want to go there. They also teased us back, so they made it even worse. Anyway, so it were great times, and it's still one of the best universities in Bucharest. Still, the best universities are the state ones, where you don't have to pay for the schooling as long as you pass the entrance exams. So, the very first document of the city of Bucharest appeared in the 1400s during the time of Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, the famous Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Țepeș, the guy who was a real character, a ruling prince of Wallachia. Keep in mind, Romania was divided in 3 different principalities: Wallachia in the south, where we are, Moldavia to the northeast, and Transylvania in the middle. So this guy was really a hero, and he's a hero for us. And he moved the capital from the mountains to the fields, here to Bucharest. And in the 1400s, he made the first document to attest this city as the capital of his kingdom, capital of Wallachia. That's the Victory Square. To the right, these are the headquarters of the government. The right side, that building, To the left, we see the line of the people, so people queuing up, and then giraffe in front, in this yellowish building. That's the Natural History Museum, which is completely renovated, many millions invested, and have all these kind of 3 dimensions, all these kind of natural habitats, environments for the animals, and this and that. So a lot of people looking into visiting the museum. The capital has a lot of museums per capita, also very wide avenues. That's the north part of the city. That's the most residential area of Bucharest. Most expensive, you can imagine. Look to the right, houses like this, 1 o'clock. Or look at all the gold and all the gilded, above the windows. So the lions and so, these are really private homes. So, and many others, like, oh, look at all the, the yards around. Also nice fall, all these horse chestnut trees or linden trees, like, tree line along the avenues. All these avenues were designed in the 1800s, towards the, end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, when the heydays of Bucharest, when Bucharest was nicknamed the Little Paris, or the Paris of the Balkans. To the left, coming up in the middle of the square, you'll see a memorial for the Romanian pilots who lost their lives in the First and Second World War. It's from the Greek mythology, Icarus, with his opening wings, and the stage of his flight. Bucharest was heavily damaged in the Second World War. As I told you, we changed the site on the 23rd of August 1944. It was also a decision mainly orchestrated by our king. We made the Second World War shorter with 6 months. We saved the lives of many people in this respect, changing the sites. But anyway, as I told you, first we were fighting with the Nazis and then against them, and there were a lot of interest, oil, and so, very first attack of the United States in the Second World War in Europe was in Romania, the Ploiești oil fields, 40 miles from here going north to the mountains. And when we changed the sites, the Allies did not believe us that we changed the site, so they continued to bomb Bucharest. The Germans, of course, they realized that we changed sides, so they also started to bomb us. So at the same time, Bucharest was bombed by both sides. Anyway, you heard it with all the surroundings, which belong to the metropolitan area of Bucharest. We are talking about 2.5 million people. That's the largest city on our itinerary. And by far, with more than 10% of the entire population, like about 12-13% of the population of Romania. More than 11, has more people than the next 11 cities of the country, and main cultural center, political center, you name it. The square in front of us is called Charles de Gaulle, in the honor of the French president and general, with all very good connections with France. Nowadays things have changed a bit, but France helped us a lot during the history. In the wars, in the First World War especially, also before gaining our independence from the Ottomans together with the Russians, and so on and so forth, being recognized as a nation, the free nation on the map of Europe. To the left, that's the huge park. We're gonna get there just in some minutes, and that's the place where you're gonna have our lunch. So to the left side. I'm sure you're hungry. Now we will go by bus on some narrow streets. You can get an idea how Bucharest looks like on the side roads, with all these villas which are not affected by the communist architecture, with all those condominiums. On the top of that, that's the area where we will see the place where Ceausescu lived together with his wife and the 3 children. It is a so-called Spring Palace. Will come up on our right side. It's a huge villa, but not, nothing to be compared with the Palace of the Parliament, but it's a place which, with plenty of gold inside, with an indoor swimming pool, with, underground passages connecting with the sport basin, and another wings of the building, which he had it on the bank of a lake. It's a huge lake, which is located in this park, and as a matter of fact, where also our restaurant is located, just on the bank of this lake. As an irony of the history, a plot of the yard of this house where Ceausescu lived, the so-called Spring Palace, was now taken by the Kuwait embassy, and they plan on building a US embassy. So look at the United Nations house, right side. You've seen in front of the parliament the NATO flag, the EU flag, as you are a member of NATO, and as of 2004, as of 2007, member of the EU, and also the Romanian flag. To the right, that's the house. So that's like a pavilion, like a garden, this glass part in the yard, and the bricks part, that's the house. Now to the right side, 1 o'clock, that's the house where he lived together with his 3 children.
Right here.
So right now on your right side, that's the house. And now you see plot of the land. The second part of the yard was taken by the embassy of Kuwait. Anyway, out of the 3 children they had, the only one who was involved in the politics was his youngest son, who had the same name as Ceausescu, Nicolae, youngest son who was supposed to become the future president. After the revolution, he was tried, he was put in prison for a year or so, then he had to be left free because of medical reasons. He had cancer on his liver. He died shortly afterwards. He was the one who chased the famous gymnast Nadia Comaneci. It was after her, but she didn't, of course, pay any attention, but she had to leave, to flee away from the country. And Comaneci is living in the States. She's Nadia, she's married with Bart Connard, the famous American gymnast, and so on. They have a boy, and she's very much into Romanian gymnastics and helping the Olympic Committee and all that. Same like Nasti, so Ilie Nastasi, the famous tennis player, so very loved by the people and very active in this respect. Anyway, so this is just to know that this was the only guy involved, and he passed away because of medical reasons. The daughter also died recently of natural causes about 2 years ago. The oldest son, called Valentine, is the only one alive. He's not a public person at all, and he is the one who inherited the gifts. He inherited everything from the family, all these gifts. So which are received personal gifts, which are valued some million of euros.
Fill up this whole hall, don't we?
de gură. Hai tu dau la procuratură. Îi săracă găina mea, mă. Hai la toți vă place de ei. Hai săracă găina mea, mă. Hai la toți vă place de ei. Hai e găina de poveste. Hai crie și dohănește, mă. Hai e găina de poveste. Hai crie și dohănește, mă. Ziua bună, dragii mei, mă!
there a way out? Oh, I'm sorry. No way out?
Smaller sizes, and also 5 avenues radiating from the Arch of Triumph was built first of wood after the end of the Independence War, the late 1800s, after 1877 Independence War against the Ottomans. The one, as you see today, was built after the end of the First World War, 1922 or so. 1918 we just finished we came out of the First World War U.S. Residency of the U.S. ambassador. It's like a pinkish reddish building to the right. At 1 o'clock with your national flag, of course, in front. That's the one. Right side now, you see the fence and so. Right here. And to the left is a greenish building coming up. That's the Canadian embassy. Plus, this PSD sign on the building to the left is a Social Democrat Party headquarters. Canadian embassy, like green one.